good thing I can edit this. Okay, so we're going to try to get the brakes mounted to the gear leg and then get the wheels attached in preparation for mounting the whole gear assembly onto the fuselage. What you're going to need to start with is the wheel. These are the Grove wheels and brakes that Mark recommends for the 4-place. This is your caliper here. A couple of parts that the instructions that come with the kit talk about that they don't really identify are the back plates, which hold this second set of pads here. And those are held on by the torque tie bolts on this side of the caliper. So when you read that in the instructions, that's what they're talking about. This is your torque plate, and this is the part you're actually going to be bolting on to your gear here. And that's the process we're gonna work on first. This comes with your hardware package. It's just a fancy castle nut, but it's the part that actually screws onto your axle here. You're also going to need a set of AN6 bolts. Now these are 3/8 bolts, so these are going to match the holes in your torque plate. But the plates also come with these little metal bushings that allow you to use these AN5 bolts if you wanted to do that instead. It comes with 2 of them, so you need at least 3 bolts according to Eric Newton's manual. I'm going to try to use 4. 2 of them will be AN5s and 2 of them will be AN6s. As far as tools, of course you're going to need your vise, a center punch, deburring tool. You may not actually need the screwdriver. 3/8 drill bit. We're using this to mark our holes. I'll show you how that works. Some sandpaper, a wrench or a socket wrench is fine. And you're going to need a long drill bit or some other mechanism to drill onto this plate. With a regular sized drill bit, I couldn't get a 90-degree angle here with my drill, so I had to go buy this. And then if your holes don't line up perfectly, you'll have to use a file to even everything up. And a unibit is important too. It gives you a really nice round hole at exactly the diameter you want. We'll use that for opening up these holes after we drill them with our 6-inch 1/8 bit. Okay, so when you first get your gear leg, this has a little bit of rust and stuff on it. On the other one, I sanded it down, and then the wheel actually fit on quite a bit better. So I'm just going to go over this real quick with some sandpaper or emery cloth. Take the torque tie bolts out to remove the backing plate so we can dry fit our parts right here. So that requires a 7/16 wrench or socket. And we'll take those off. So this is going to go on the axle like so. If you're looking at this as if it were on the airplane, that is forward and that is down. And so we want this to be forward and maybe a little down. I'm just going to go basically forward with this angle. Once you assemble this, come in like so. And then your wheel is going to slide on top of this. Once it does, you'll reattach the back plate with those torque bolts around the disc.
Now just set that there. Pull these plugs out of the wheel. And the disc will go in towards like so. Okay. So this will just sit like this.
These will screw on here. here. Now we could have screwed the axle nut on too, just to prove that the axle nut will fit.
Okay.
Next step is to figure out how I'm going to align this and mark and drill the holes. So I grabbed an approximate angle off of the last one I did, and I'm just going to use this to match it up. But there's no need for that to be exact. I just want them to look symmetrical. It's basically just going to be forward. You can see there's quite a bit of slop here. So to kind of even out that space, I'm going to use some little bits of paper kind of wedged in.
Hopefully evenly around this whole thing. There's probably a better way to do this, but I don't know it.
Alright, once I think I got it spaced, I'll check that angle again. And I'll just put a clamp on it. Okay, so as a reference now, I'm going to just draw in these circles.
The ones I plan to drill.
And we're just going to use this 3/8 bit, which is an idea that another Bearhawk builder gave me.
I'm going to spin this inside this hole just enough to get a mark. And it's really not much of a mark, but it's enough that I can get my center punch on it. And then I can punch it out and use that to start drilling. From there we'll drill our pilot hole, and then we'll get our step drill involved.
Sorry. And 5 bolts and an AN 6, because these have more room on the back here, and the outside ones are really tight. So it'll be much easier to put the AN 5s there. So now we'll take our center punch and follow the little mark we just made. You should be able to see the center punch in this one now. And you can maybe make out the little mark the drill made in these other holes.
Okay, we got a hole right.
Now we can go to our step drill. So if you look, all these steps are labeled. So if you haven't used one of these before, we're going to drill until we get to where the 5/16 step is inside the hole. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. Clean it out with our deburring tool.
As much as can.
And 5 should just fit, and it does. Means we did something right. Okay, so now we're going to take one of these bushings, our torque plate, line this up, and we'll use the bolt to push the bushing into place.
It's not the hardware you actually use when you're assembling it, but it's just temporary, so we can line things up.
So now that I've got this hole secured, we can make sure that our other holes are still where we want them to be. And they are. So we're gonna punch another hole.
And onto the step bit.
see the AN5s and AN6s. Obviously the wrong length. I have to go pick up some bolts on Monday. But that's it for this step.